Drive, Battle Creek, Michigan. I'd like to say one thing. You don't have the right to, at any point in this process, to control or govern what caregivers do. State law does that, and it is part of the Constitution, as it was voted by the referendum. But there's a lot more issues than that. There's a thing in Michigan called the Right to Farm Act. When this thing was voted by referendum by the people, the Right to Farm Act kicked in, since marijuana is a legal crop now. If there is any interference with our law, our constitutional right, then we will sue on the basis of the Right to Farm Act. It has been upheld by the Michigan Supreme Court in multiple cases, two of which are Padillas versus the City of Troy and Shelby versus Popish. It's simply, and let me read it to you because it's a lot. It's very clear. Beginning June 1st, 2000, except as otherwise provided in this section, it is expressed legislative intent that this act preempt any local ordinance, regulation, or resolution that purports to extend or provides in any manner the provisions of this act or generally accepted agricultural management practices. That means if you use light or water or however you grow, as long as it's an accepted method of agriculture, you're protected. Developed under this act, except as otherwise provided in this section, there's nothing. A local unit of government shall not enact, maintain, or enforce an ordinance, regulation, or resolution that conflicts in any manner with this act or generally accepted agricultural management practices developed under this act. Now, the thing that's good about this law is it has teeth. If we're forced to take this thing to court, which we will, we have four full-time attorneys, we will take it to court. In any nuisance action brought forth in which a farm or farm operation is alleged to be a nuisance, if the defendant farm or farm operation prevails, and we will, the farm or farm operation may recover from the plaintiff the actual amount of costs and expenses determined by the court have been reasonably incurred by the farm or farm operation in connection with the defense of the action, together with reasonable and actual attorney fees. We have expensive attorneys. The Michigan Medical Marijuana Act is part of the Constitution of the State of Michigan. No place in that law does it give you the right to regulate anything, period. Your complaint is basically that you want to be able to control commercial enterprises. And that is your right. There's a difference, a big difference between a commercial enterprise and what a caregiver and a patient do. A caregiver, believe me, doesn't make a lot of money, if any. I've had to actually work out with my electric company a way to pay the bills every month. Because a lot of my patients are SSI patients. We've got people with cerebral palsy, cancer, AIDS, Hep C, just the most terrible diseases you can ever dream of. Yes, sir.
Use your mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me better now? All right, thank you. Basically, the worst diseases you could ever possibly imagine. I have neuropathy, and a good example of what kind of thing that is I burnt my finger tonight. And I didn't even know I had burnt it until it had actually gone all the way to the bone. You feel the pain from the inside. And the only thing that is, there's no medication they make in the world that helps that, except for marijuana. There's a lot of diseases like that. MS, they actually did a study. The only drug ever to actually reverse the effects of MS is marijuana. They infected mice. And these mice not only stopped the progression of MS, but actually reversed it. So this is a drug that has a lot of promise. And the people of the state of Michigan, by a vote of 63%, agreed that it has a lot of promise for people who have no other options in a lot of cases. They're dying.
Can you give me your name again, because I couldn't, you said it so fast I couldn't get it.
I've only got 5 minutes though. It's Joe Kane.
Joe Kane?
Yes, I talk funny and I talk fast, so.
No, you don't talk.
That's okay. Now, the thing is there's absolutely no way in this world you can regulate caregivers, and we don't want this to be an adversarial relationship. Caregivers are regulated by the state constitution, state law. 5 patients, 60 plans, 2.5 ounces per patient, and we don't want anybody to interfere with that relationship because it's a special one-on-one personal relationship between a patient and a caregiver. And any sort of anything that makes that caregiver job harder, we're going to fight really hard. We're going to oppose it because it is a compassionate law. This is not a legal thing. We can understand concerns about dispensaries and commercial enterprises and thousands of plants growing and everybody and all this other stuff. And we're willing to work with you. We'll sit down and talk to you about it. There doesn't have to be a lot of controversy about this thing. And because this is for sick people. If you come to one of our Compassion Club meetings, what you'll see is just a lot of sick folks. I mean, really. These aren't people that are using marijuana recreational. I'm sure there's a few that slip in, but 99.9% of the people that I see are just on the edge of death. And this is their last chance right here.
Mr. Kane,
Yes.
I'm gonna say something to you, and I hope you can take this very, dear to your heart, okay? Because I am a cancer survivor.
Yes, sir.
I had cancer about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Throat cancer. I was on just about every drug you can think of. I even got to the point where I asked the doctor, when do we get to the marijuana part? Okay, we're not here talking about stopping somebody from taking care of themselves or taking care of a disease. We just don't want this thing to run wild on us. We just had an article in the paper where there was a break-in today, where there was a caregiver, and a patient, and that they lost about $10,000 in the marijuana and stuff like that. We're not out here. I would never want to keep anybody from being taken care of or having the right drug to take care of their pain or anything like that. And I'm talking from my heart right now. I hope you can see that.
That's a beautiful thing. It really is.
Because I know the pain that you can go through. I look pretty darn good today, but I'll tell you what, 5 years ago, I didn't look so hot. I didn't even know if I was gonna be here or not.
And that's what we find.
Okay, so we're not here saying no to you or anybody else. We just wanna make sure that this thing doesn't get out of control in our community. Okay, that's what we're trying.
And we're here to make sure of that too. We
Okay.
want to help you, and we
Well,
want to assist in any way we can.
The communication channels will be open. I just want to make it clear, though, that we're not up here trying to stop anybody from being able to take care of themselves or get the
Can I
proper care.
piggyback you?
Yes, sir, Larry.
I'm not, I know I'm not supposed to, but
I'll let
that's the reason I made the motion, that we be fully in compliance with the law in our zoning. That means that, we're not trying to take any rights away from people. We just want to know, I guess, what the law is and how do we function under it so that we can comply with our zoning.
You know what I'd just love to see? Instead of us having to go out and do this thing 14,000 times, if we could actually get a convention put together and everybody sit down and figure out what this piece
That'd
is.
probably be a good idea, seeing as how it just happened, so. But I thank you for your comments. I just wanted you to hear mine. Okay.
Oh, that's great stuff. The thing is the Michigan Medical Marijuana Association, we're the front line for patients and caregivers. That's what our primary focus is. And Compassion Clubs, that's another entity that is basically a way for sick people to network.
Okay.
And those are our primary concerns. And as long as this moratorium doesn't affect that, then we'd like to work with you on any other aspects.
We may have a lot of questions for you. That's why I wanted your name.
Yes, sir, and we'll be more than happy to help. Thank you very much.
Thank you.